Namaste, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome back to another edition of JumpBall Season 2. It is the 11th episode. Hope you guys have been enjoying it, whether it is to your enjoyment or disappointment. We are back. Western Front, it was last time out. This time, we have to get to the Eastern Front, no matter how much we might not want to. I mean, game one in the Western Front, double overtime. MVP versus DPOY. DPOY comes into the MVP's house and steals the game without De'Aaron Fox. Spurs are 1-0 up, but let's actually look onto the other side. It is the New York Knicks taking on the Cavs from Cleveland. And in this one, I think I am going to lean towards the team from New York. Go New York, go. Shout out to the boy Mikey. I know I have not had the opportunity to have him on this season. Maybe something still happens. We'll see. But even if it does not, it is great to see my boys' team doing well. For us, the Dubs, we'll see what the future holds. We still got, draft, free agency, and everything else to start kind of figuring out what next season is going to be. At least Coach Steve Kerr's back, so shout out to him. But talk about Steve Kerr, talk about the Dubs. Let's talk about the coaches in this matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals. It is former Warriors assistant coaches in Kenny Atkinson and Mike Brown, both former champions with us. And it's going to be interesting to see how they fare off. There's going to be respect there. They're both going to, know the systems that, they're going to want to run. Kenny, obviously being the offensive savant that he is, he gets the best and most out of his guards. Mike Brown on the other side was there when we had one of the better defenses with Kevin Durant back in the day. So, they both bring a different element into this matchup. However, I am leaning towards the Knicks, as I mentioned, but I am leaning towards them in 6 games. Why do I say that? One, because the way that the Spurs came in, they had the momentum with OKC kind of having that time off. Possibly Cavs having the momentum of 2 7-game series. They win possibly game 1 in New York. They went from Detroit to New York. They already, have that mentality. Hey, we're going to steal a game. Let's go into Cleveland, try to figure the situation out after that. That should be the mentality they have going in. They likely will not be able to steal game 2, so game 1 it should be. And yeah, they should try to steal this one, though. This is arguably when New York has been the most healthiest. That rest that I'm kind of saying might lead to a downfall in this first game actually has helped them, get everybody healthy, get OG especially healthy, because he's going to be the difference maker. Because on the other side, it's going to have to be Max Strus or Dean Wade or somebody of that, caliber out in the wings to be guarding him. And more than likely, they are not going to be able to, if it's a healthy OG, I could see him putting up 25 easily. We saw what Detroit was doing, what Cade Cunningham was doing. No matter the body that he was getting, he got to where he wanted to. So I am taking the defense of New York basketball. I am taking the offense of New York basketball. They are 2-1 in this season series. However, the one loss that came in the 2026 year. Before that, the both wins were in 2025. Why do I mention the 2 different years? Because 2026 is when James Harden came in. 2025, they still had Darius Garland. Whether he was playing or whether he was just on the roster being hurt, he was still there. And the team dynamic was a little different. Now, after that, James Harden came in. The first game that they played against the Knicks, they did end up winning. Does that kind of, entail what this series can be? I don't think so. Earlier, I just mentioned Raptors have gone down to 2 7-game season series already. Knicks having that rest, I think that's going to play very big dividend in them being more restful, and the Cavs being more restless. Like if it goes to 7th game, right? In that 4th quarter, Jalen Brunson, former being clutch player, there is a trust factor there. Also, another factor for the Knicks, they have been being built for a number of years. There's not a significant piece outside of like a Jose Alvarado that joined them this year to kind of give them that depth that maybe they were lacking last year or previous years. But this year, I think they get over the hump, at least get to the NBA Finals. For the Cavs, I think I mean, it's really a 6 month experiment. You're hoping that you kind of get that Kawhi Leonard type of bump. Before that, you needed Kevin Durant, you needed Klay Thompson, you needed Boogie, you needed Steph Curry, four people to be injured to get that 2019 championship on top of the Kawhi Leonard trade. It doesn't always work out that 6 months in, the no matter the superstar that comes in kind of takes your team over the top to a championship, at least not a superstar caliber level. um, it's going to be tough to see. I think Donovan Mitchell has not given me that assertiveness. Maybe he does in game one, kind of like that second half of, I want to say, game 5 or game 6 against the Pistons. But in this one, I think similar to how I picked the OKC Thunder. I mean, maybe I could be wrong after that game one. We don't know. But the scary part for the Spurs is the growth they still have yet to, get to. And as they age, as they season after season, with more chemistry and camaraderie, it's only going to develop more and get more scarier for the rest of the league. Um, Same thing with the Knicks. They have had, a number of years that they have battled in the East. They have to kind of break through at a certain point. I think this is going to be their moment. This is their year. You can kind of go back to in-season tournament earlier in the year. It was the Knicks. They were there. They won it. They still have not raised the banner for that. Whatever your thoughts may be on that. But they did do that. They have won together on the other side. Like I mentioned, their chemistry and camaraderie, spacing, all that kind of, especially in the clutch moments, it's going to be a factor. James Harden has had those moments of, high turnovers in the playoffs again this year. The defense of Josh Hart, OG, Mikal Bridges, even though he might not give you 20 in the offensive end, he's giving you, defense. Uh, Brunson Burner, obviously, he's going to do his thing. Cat, I think he has evolved into another phase of him. He is not just a big man, the best big man shooting threes from outside. He does get in, he drives on them. Defensively, he tries a lot more. And this season, he has evolved, into a very, very, very good facilitator. He plays at the top of the key, top of the 3 point line, like Jokic, lets everybody else kind of move around him, and then facilitates where it needs to be, controls the offense, controls the pace, and that's another factor. I think Knicks have kind of, with the amount of battles that they have gone through, they understand the pace, the tempo, um, and all of that for what they need to be at. Um, However, in the first matchup, like I mentioned throughout the video, I will give the Cavs the benefit of the doubt. And then game 3 or 4, I do, I'll give the Cleveland fans, I'll give James Harden, I'll give Spider Mitchell, maybe even Jared Allen might need to wake back up. Evan Mobley is going to be the biggest X factor because there's nobody really on the Knicks squad to match his length. If he somehow, some way gets into a Wemby type of mode like yesterday, he might be unstoppable to stop or at least slow down. That's when OG is going to be at its most crucial. But getting him back healthy, getting the rest of the guy rested. Um, yeah, I think it's meant for Knicks at least to get to the finals, whether they win it or not. You guys are going to have to tune in and find out on the next episode of Jump Ball. Till then, you already know what to do. Go like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Yesterday's episode's kind of, running the numbers, but we need more word of mouth. We need more shout outs. We need a little bit more love. Show your boy some love. Yes, it is not a black shirt. It is a gray shirt. We're a little bit more brighter today. The sun's hot. So I had to kind of, get off the black t-shirt, but we're still unsponsored. So what does that mean? Y'all need to show more love down in the comment section. Go, post about it, all that. If not, just let me know what you want to talk about, what you want to hear about. Put it down in the comments below, and I will try to get to that. Till then, we have phenomenal games. Hopefully, 7 game series, at least in the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, maybe a 6 game series, so your boy can be right. But we'll see what is to come. Till then, you already know what it is. Like I mentioned, go like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a great day, and you already know it's all love. Bye.